many people, I don't think many people are watching Sona debates. How many of you guys have actually watched that Sona debate? You see, man, this is when you will actually see that politicians are useless in our lives, man. Just watch those Sona debates and you will see how useless our politicians are. Those people, man, and the manner in which they discuss the issues, there is no conclusion about any matter that has been discussed on the stage. So why are they calling it a Sona debate if people simply will go on the stage with their statement and say that President Ramaphosa, you have failed to do 1, 2, 3, President Ramaphosa, you have failed. You will see the African National Congress coming out and saying that the African National Congress has done a lot for the people. Man, this is what we have done since 1994. What kind of value are people actually getting from these Sona debates? What kind of value are people getting from the parliament? These are the people that you guys have voted to be in parliament. These are the people that you guys have voted and trusted with your vote, that maybe by being in parliament they can actually fight on your behalf, but they are not fighting on your behalf. They are not fighting on your behalf, man. I don't believe the opposition parties in South Africa are serious about actually taking out the African National Congress in power. The opposition parties in this country, man, you think about the fact that the African National Congress, it is so corrupt. It is a party that basically gave itself on a silver platter to the opposition parties to kill it. But the opposition parties, for some reason, they are failing. They are failing to take South Africans away from the African National Congress. How is it possible that African National Congress is there, laid bare on a silver platter and say, kill me, kill me? But the opposition parties, man, are hitting on the side. They are hitting on the side. These people, man, I remember Dan Koda last week, he said that if this was a 100-meter marathon, the African National Congress has already allowed the opposition parties to run 80 meters. But these people, man, for some reason, the ANC will get to the finish line before them. This is what Dan Koda said, and I thought it was a brilliant analysis. It was a brilliant analogy because when you sit down, you think, with so many political parties, are you telling me that there is not a single political party that is giving ANC a run for its money? I remember at some point the DA was that political party, but when it comes to the DA, man, I don't know what happened with the DA. Somehow the DA has lost favor. Somehow many people don't want to be associated with the Democratic Alliance. I don't know what really happened with the Democratic Alliance. At some point the DA was the alternative for South Africans. But right now people are no longer entertaining the thing of the Democratic Alliance. But I wonder, man, with so many political parties, why haven't one of these political parties actually been able to nail the African National Congress and prove to the people of this country that, guys, you don't need this opposition party? I mean, like, if we could have one opposition party that is going to convince the South Africans to move away from the African National Congress, I think that is the only party that we need. I think that is the only party we need. And I think, again, the reason why many people in the country do not trust opposition parties is because they think and feel like opposition parties are saying the same thing over and over again. They feel like opposition parties think that by going to the people and telling them how bad the African National Congress is, that is enough for the people to vote for them. And it has been proven throughout the years that going to the people and telling them how bad the ANC is, it doesn't mean that people are no longer going to vote for the African National Congress. And the same people will tell you that, man, we don't want you to tell us how bad the African National Congress is. We need you to come and provide the solutions on what you can do better than the African National Congress. And the same people, when the parties come and say, guys, these are our solutions, this is what we're going to do to improve your lives, the same people say, no, we're still going to vote for the African National Congress. So, man, at this point, I honestly I cannot fault the ANC anymore. At this point, I am going to fault the voters of the African National Congress. The voters of the ANC are the ones that are holding the country back. The voters of the ANC are the ones that are holding the country back. I mean, like, there is nothing to be said about the ANC at this point. There's nothing to be said about the ANC at this point. And for people to still have so much hope for the African National Congress, for people to still believe the lies and the promises from the African National Congress, man, it is bizarre to me. It is bizarre to me. Everything that needs to be said about the ANC has been said. So what is it exactly is it going to take for opposition party to get rid of the ANC? What is it that is going to take for the opposition parties to get rid of the African National Congress? I know many people right now in the country, they're frustrated. I know, especially the DA voters, man. The DA voters are so frustrated that, man, how can South Africans continue to vote for this party that is turning their lives upside down? I know many people are frustrated right now at the African National Congress. So what is the solution, man? How can opposition parties actually take people from the African National Congress? How can opposition parties actually convince the people of this country that, guys, the ANC, it is not the party for you? What more needs to be said? What more needs to be done for the people of this country. Because even when people are presented with the solutions, they're saying, no, rather the devil we know than the devil we don't know. Guys, it's hot, man. It's 30 degrees. People are saying that rather the devil we know than the devil we don't know. These are the same people that say, what can you do better than the African National Congress? And when the parties come and say, this is how we are going to govern, you remember a couple of days ago, Moonpeg came out and proposed how they are going to stimulate the economy of this country. How many people do you actually think watched that video? How many people actually do you think actually watched the Moonpeg when they told the South Africans that, guys, this is how we are going to stimulate the economy of the country? People do not care about policy in this country. South Africans do not care about policy. As much as they can tell you that, stop telling us that the ANC is bad. Everyone knows that the ANC is bad. But the people of this country, they don't care about policy. They don't care about policy. So they pretend to care about policy when people are telling them how bad the ANC is. But the same political parties, when they are out and telling you about what they are going to do policy-wise, people are not listening to them. We are between a rock and a hard place, man. We are between a rock and a hard place. South African voters, man, are going to make sure that there is nothing left of this country. By the time the ANC gets done with South Africa, there will be nothing left for this country. And at this point, man, I am not going to blame the African National Congress, because these people, man, are nothing but the cadres. And I think the African National Congress also doesn't understand why so many people continue to vote for them, despite them being such an embarrassment. The African National Congress doesn't understand. They don't understand how can people, man, continue to vote for us despite us treating them like this. I mean, like, this is why I keep saying that the African National Congress is laughing at the people of this country, man. The ANC is laughing at us. They are laughing at us. They are laughing at us. How can people continuously vote for the African National Congress despite everything that the African National Congress has put them? How can people still vote for the African National Congress, man, despite their children sitting at home doing nothing? They know everything that is wrong that is happening in the country. It is happening under the African National Congress. But for some reason, many people still vote for the ANC. For some reason, the ANC still has voters, man. You know, this is one issue that makes me not sleep well at night. This is one issue that makes me not sleep well at night. I'm like, what more do South Africans need? What more do black people in this country need? The African National Congress is telling them that, man, if you dare vote for Moonpeg, if you dare vote for the Moonpeg, man, and they are bringing apartheid back, you better be ready for apartheid. You better be ready for apartheid. If they vote for the Moonpeg, you better be ready for apartheid, because those guys at the Democratic Alliance, they hate you. Those guys at the Democratic Alliance, they hate you. So, honestly, man, I don't know what more South Africans need, man. I am frustrated at South Africans. And I am more frustrated at black people, man, continuing to vote for the African National Congress. As much as I am frustrated I am frustrated at the people voting for the African National Congress. Man, I think at this point, as South Africans, man, we need to stop blaming the ANC. At this point, man, we need to start targeting these voters of the African National Congress and shame them and make them understand that, guys, every time you vote for these people, man, our future has been destroyed in this country. Every time you vote for these people, man, you are voting for the state-owned entities to be destroyed. Every time you are voting for these people, man, you are voting for these people, man, to destroy every single department in government. Guys, how many years do you think a new political party, if we happen to kick out the ANC, how many years do you think a new political party is going to take to fix the mess of the African National Congress? Why are people still voting for these people, man? Why are people still voting for these people, man? To me, it makes no sense, none whatsoever, man. Even these people that are being blackmailed by the social grants, even these people that Ramaphosa is telling that, guys, if you don't vote for us, you're going to lose the social grants. Are these people actually happy with getting 350s? Are these people happy about not working? Are they happy about that? I don't know what's happening in the country, man. I don't know what is happening in the country. Are people actually happy to get these 350s? How can the ANC blackmail people with something like social grants? How can the ANC blame people with something like social grants? I thought people needed employment, man. I thought people needed the African National Congress to create an Orania-like area, man, where there are companies left, right, and center, where people can actually drop their CVs and be hired on the spot. I thought young people in this country actually wanted to stand by themselves. But how can young people in this country actually allow the African National Congress to blackmail them with the 350s? 350s, why can't these people say, man, as much as we appreciate getting these 350s, it's fine. We didn't have them before. You are giving them to us. We are not going to say no. But we are not going to vote for you on the basis that you are giving us 350s. What about our future, man? We need to be independent. We need to start our own families. Some of us, we already have children. I don't understand, man. I honestly don't understand. This is something that boggles me every day. Every day, guys. This is something that I think about each and every day. Each and every day when I'm walking the streets, man, when I see hundreds and hundreds of young people, man, just roaming around the streets. Some of them are standing there nearby the shops. Some of them are smoking. Some of them are doing the up and downs with their beer. This is what I think, that are these people actually happy with getting 350s? Do these people actually think their lives are worth 350? How can the young people in this country actually allow the ANC to blackmail them with 350? You know, when the ANC said that if people don't vote for them, they're going to lose their social grants, this was supposed to backfire to the African National Congress. Many young people in this country were supposed to say no. Young people in this country were supposed to say no, man, you are not going to blackmail us with the social grants. They were not supposed to say that. Young people were supposed to say, you are not going to blackmail us with the social grants. We want jobs. We want decent jobs. We want you to create an environment where investors can come. We want people who are competent. We want the ministers who are competent. We want the government officials that are competent. I thought this thing in a sane country, it would have blown in the face of the African National Congress, and them saying that was going to be enough for the ANC to lose the elections. The African National Congress, if we lived in a sane country, they were supposed to lose the election by simply saying that if people don't vote for them, they're going to lose the social grants. The people who are getting the social grants were supposed to stand up and say, man, just because we are getting this money, it doesn't mean that we are okay with getting this money. Life is expensive, man. The cost of living is going up. What do you expect young people to do with 350? What honestly do you expect young people to do with 350s? This was one message that was supposed to make sure that the ANC is done. But for some reason, it's like ANC is getting more and more popular. It's getting more and more popular. We live in a simulation, man. This country is a simulation. Oh, guys, I don't know where my cloth is. This country is a simulation. It is a simulation. I don't think there are people like South Africans, man. I'm sure people in the neighboring countries, they're starting to laugh at us. The same way South Africans used to laugh at Zimbabweans. You remember South Africans used to laugh at Zimbabweans and saying that the Zimbabweans, man, cannot even go back home and fight for their country, man, and kick ZANU-PF out of government and fight for their own country. But the same people who used to mock Zimbabwe, they are being laughed at today. South Africa is being laughed at today, man. I'm sure some people from in Africa here, they're looking at South Africa, man, they're like, man, what do these people need? What do these people need? I think even the people in Botswana, man, I know the Botswana government is terrible, but I think even the people in Botswana, they are saying that, man, like what more do South Africans need? People are not even thinking about their futures, man. People are not thinking about the future of their children, man. Just imagine if I were to sit here to rely on 350, man. I have 2 kids. I have 2 boys, man. Just imagine if I were to sit here and survive on 350s, man. These 2 boys are so demanding. The older one has just began school. He's living with his grandmother. I know many people haven't seen him on the pictures. I'm hoping that I'm going to upload a picture when he comes to visit us. He's living with his grandmother. These people are expensive. And most of people, especially in my age, they have children. So how are these people surviving with 350s? How are these people protecting 350s over their dignity? How are these people okay with getting 350s for the government? How are these people, man, not okay? How are these people okay with the fact that there are no employment for them? How are these people okay with the fact that even if you can print out as many CVs as you want, chances are you are not going to get employed in South Africa? How are many people okay with sitting at home and doing nothing, and okay with African National Congress telling them that you need to sit there and depend on this 350, because if you don't vote for us, you are going to lose this 350. South Africa is something else, man. South Africa is something else. South Africa is something else, man. Everything is wrong in the country, man. Crime is up. Everything is wrong, man. The infrastructure is broken down. Children are drug addicts, man. You go around in the streets, man. Young children are already smoking cigarettes, man. Some of them, they are smoking with their brothers. Young children in the black communities, man, they are drinking beers, smoking cigarettes, man, already wasting their future. Some of these people, man, have never been employed. Some of them, they are like 28, 25, 24. They have never been employed. They have never received a salary. What is happening in South Africa, man? What is happening in South Africa? So, guys, how is it possible, man, that we still have people who are willing to vote for the African National Congress despite everything that the ANC has done to the country? How is it possible, guys? How is it possible, man? And what do you think it needs to be done at this point? I honestly don't know what needs to be done at this point. I honestly don't know what needs to be done at this point. I don't know what needs to be said. I don't know what more do the African National Congress needs to do for the people of this country to say these people don't want to govern. I don't know what more do the African National Congress needs to do for the people of this country to say, guys, it is enough. It is enough. For how long will the people of this country allow the African National Congress to treat them like this? For how long will black people in this country, man, allow the African National Congress to treat them like this, and to allow the ANC to continue gaslighting them and telling them that, guys, remember in apartheid, man, you were not living like this. In apartheid, you were living worse than you were living today. But some of us are talking with our grandmothers, we are talking with our grandfathers, and they are telling us what really happened in apartheid, man. If you remember, one of the stories that my grandmother used to tell me was that the police will literally arrest you for not working. People will literally get arrested for not working. But today, you have millions and millions of young people, man, that are sitting at home doing nothing. People were not allowed to roam around the streets and do nothing back in apartheid. And that was the time where black people were actually oppressed. That was the time where black people were actually oppressed. So how is it possible that the system that was oppressing black people did not allow black people to be unemployed, but the system that is not oppressing black people is allowing a situation where millions and millions of black people are unemployed? I mean, the stories that our grandmothers and our grandfathers are telling us, man, it's insane, man. They tell us these stories, man, especially when it comes to the issue of jobs, especially when it comes to the issue of safety, man. The fact that our borders were safe. You wouldn't see like illegal immigrants walking around doing as they please, man. The police officers were the real police officers. Today, when you look at the police officers, man, most of them, they are obese. They cannot even run after the criminals. But we are supposed to respect these people, man, as the officers of the law. They cannot even run. The police officers, some of the female police officers, they have nails this long. Nails, they have nails this long. They are doing the TikTok challenges. You go on social media, man, these people are dancing and doing all the silly things at work. And South Africans are expected to trust these people for their safety. Back then, it was safe. Back then, people were working. But right now, people are not working. It is not safe. How is it possible? How is it possible, man? I find it very strange. Man. You know, this is one thought that I cannot get my mind over. Guys, I'm sorry. I wanted to do this video of a Lindwe Zulu, but I will do it later. I wanted to get my thoughts out. This is something that really bugs me. And I think that if you follow the channel, if you have followed the channel for such a long time, you understand how I feel about this. You understand how I feel about people who continuously vote for the African National Congress despite everything the party has done to them. I mean, what more can the political parties do? I mean, like, at some point, man, I feel for the opposition parties, man. At some point, I feel for the opposition parties, man. There's only so much they can do. I know that we come on these platforms and we call them useless and we call them idiots for actually not doing anything against the African National Congress. But if we have to be honest, man, there's only so much that opposition parties can do. There's only so much. What more do opposition parties need to do to show the people of this country that, guys, things are not working under the ANC government. What more do the opposition parties need to say to South Africans and say, guys, stop voting for these people, man, for the love of God. Please have some respect for yourselves, for the love of God. Please have some dignity. Stop voting for these people who simply don't care about you. For the love of God, man. For the love of God. Man. Just things are not working in South Africa, man. Things are not working in South Africa. Young people are given 30% education, man. Can you imagine 30% education, man? There is nothing that disgusts me than this 30% education. There is nothing that disgusts me like than this 30% education, because right now you try to have conversations with people, you are trying to have political conversations with some of the people, man. The way they reason, man, you can understand, you can feel that these people, man, are the victims of this 30% thing. This 30% education system, man, it's a nonsense. It's a nonsense. And for the African National Congress to go around and saying that we have the highest pass rate this year, 82% of the matriculants have passed. This is the highest pass rate. The literacy levels are going up. And Jim Mutera was on television saying that the literacy levels are going up. I mean, today, a typical child in South Africa, the one who does from grade 2 to grade 6, they cannot read or write. They cannot read or write. But the Minister of Education, the Minister of 30%, wants South Africans to believe that the literacy levels are going up. Do you honestly believe that the literacy levels are going up? I mean, if the literacy levels were going up, young people in this country would actually revolt against the African National Congress, because these people would be smart. They would be smart to actually see what is happening. So they would revolt against the ANC. But young people are not revolting against the ANC. So how can these people come out and say the literacy levels have gone up? I mean, there is no evidence that the literacy levels has gone up. And the voters of the African National Congress, man, are the worst thing to happen to this country. The voters of the ANC are the worst thing to happen to this country. The people who died for the African National Congress, man, I'm starting to feel sideways about these people, man, who put their lives on the line for the African National Congress to exist, man. You know, these people, man, who decided to go. I mean, like even Nelson Mandela, man, right now, you're going to have to catch a couple of strays, Nelson Mandela, because you sacrificed your life for us to have the African National Congress. And now you are no more, and we have the African National Congress. African National Congress today exists, man, because some of the people, man, literally sacrificed their own lives for this movement to be here. And for the people, man, who sacrificed their own lives for the movement to be here, and for the families of those people who sacrificed their lives for the African National Congress to be here, are those people happy about the job of the African National Congress? Are the people who fought against apartheid actually happy about where the country is today? The people who have experienced apartheid firsthand. I'm not talking about people like me. I'm talking about people who have experienced apartheid firsthand. Are these people happy to see where the country is? Guys, please tell me your thoughts, man. Please tell me your thoughts on the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button. The most important part is subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Guys, I will do this video of Lindwe Zulu a bit late. Thank you.